Such an emotional game the other night. Does that make the short week any more challenging?
Yeah, really challenging. I think the natural tendency would be to try to feel good a little bit longer than what we have time for. As you all know, so yesterday was a Wednesday, today was Thursday, tomorrow's the day before the game, and so it's hard, even though we've done it a lot of times, it's hard to get used to it still, and bumps and bruises have to heal faster. Good performances have to be forgotten, as well as some that could be improved need to be forgotten. So a lot at stake, but so far I would say so good in the 2 days that we've had on the field.
Last two games you've shown that you have a lot of options in the backfield, a lot of different players who can run the ball. How has that made the offense more dynamic this season?
Well, especially against Texas, having Jamal and Adam back there, I think really helped as the game went on. We didn't slow down, and when you consider now Algie and Paul as well, it's a nice stable of backs to have. It's more than two deep, and so you end up almost being three deep with different combinations, which is really helpful in keeping the workload as much as possible off Taysom, even though he's really dynamic with the ball and we're throwing it better, so that helps too.
And then going further down, you have Adam Heener, who's scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, he's doing a really nice job. He's had a nice season so far.
How are things on the bumps and bruises front?
They're there. So normally it's a walkthrough on Monday rather than a Wednesday's practice for that very reason, and so they just are what they are. I don't think there's anything that's game limiting in addition to what you already don't know, but hopefully we'll be as healthy as possible by the time we play.
So with Bronson, DeAndre, Algie, the top three, I guess, from Saturday, any updates there on status?
No. Brett might have more or Steve might have more, but and hopefully they'll be ready.
You planning on any or all today?
Not sure.
Okay.
Bronco, we heard Kurt Henderson got a scholarship. Any other walk-ons recently get scholarships?
Zach Stout was re-awarded a scholarship. He lost his scholarship when he left BYU, and so he was re-awarded when he came back. Kurt Henderson, and there's one more. Trevor Sampson, our kicker. So he was put on scholarship. So those three have been awarded through two-a-days or just recently after.
Mitchell Jergens is already having a big role. Is that a surprise to you, or did you kind of see that?
It was a surprise in the spring, and then the surprise kind of started wearing off in fall camp, and now that it's game two, it's kind of expected, so it doesn't take much to do that. But he's put a nice run together since spring practice.
Can you tell those two apart?
I can, actually, and I'm not giving you any idea. We actually had a radio show about that, didn't we?
We did. Most of the show was about
Most of the show. Yeah. So those that want to listen next time, there's serious content on there, but we didn't disclose exactly how you could tell.
No.
In fact, you don't know.
Well, I do know. But
I don't think you do know. I don't think you do know.
Okay. So after Texas, is Houston just the perfect opponent to get guys' attention because of what happened last year?
Oh, for sure. There's man, that was an exhausting game right to the very end, and we didn't come close to stopping them, and we scored a number of times, and right at the end, I had to intercept the ball to win. So, yeah, we know we have our hands full.
As you look at these guys on film, what do you see from them?
Oh, just the same as a year ago. Really good schemes and good players, and so they're doing a nice job. Another bowl team and capable against anybody they play.
The way Taysom is running your offense, it seems to me that the intermediate throw is really the key to the whole operation. Is that fair to say?
I would say that in terms of consistency and moving the chains. Like I believe the last drive against Texas, I'm not sure we got to third down one time. And so between the runs and the intermediate throws, and then eventually as teams tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten, then you get one of those like Jordan Leslie had that was kind of bounced around a few times, but that was over the top. So there's a give and take. If teams want to let the intermediate happen and prevent the deep one, fine. If they want to tighten up, then hopefully we can make them pay.
As difficult as these Thursday games are, does the benefit outweigh because you're the only game in town, especially now that you're freshly in the top 20?
Well, I think you have to view it that way. In the position we're in as an independent, it's almost, not quite, but it's almost anything for exposure. And so Thursday nights are part of it, Friday nights are part of it, and so you have to view the trade-off right now as being worth it. Anything else?
Yeah, defensively speaking, how have you felt about your team's defensive performance up to this point?
Really good. 17 points in 2 games. And man, if that keeps up, we'll have a great chance in every game that we play. And that's how I measure it, really, is how many points allowed.
I know you guys were really good last year and you're replacing a lot of NFL talent, but like you mentioned, 17 points. Seems like you guys have not experienced a drop-off. What have you done to be able to keep that going?
It's just the system. So for 9 years, we've averaged being in the top 20 in scoring through that entire time. And so really it's just replacing parts now. And we have good leadership with our defensive staff. So both parts are really helpful.
Sorry.
Jamal wore that knee brace. Is there concern at all over his knee, or was that a precautionary kind of?
From what I've been told, there's still an aid to stability, and the doctors feel better about him wearing it. And I wasn't sure if he'd look as good or not good with it, but man, I didn't notice much difference. So he was worried about it, and I was worried about it. But they say that there's some stability that needs to be supported, so we'll go with it.
How important will support and/or a sellout mean for you guys for a game like Thursday?
Oh, it'll be really helpful. I love our fans so far that we've seen on the road, and how loyal they've been, and how boisterous, and how passionate they've been about supporting the team. And it would be great to have even a greater advantage at home from a similar fan base. Even though it's on national TV, it's still our home stadium, and I think seeing a game in person and supporting is still better than seeing it on the TV.
Have you been able to reach out to Max Hall at all yet after the news?
Right after I heard, I left a phone message, and I've left emails and text different family members, and I am aware that through someone else that he did get it, and so I haven't talked to him in person yet, but I know that he did appreciate the message that I left, and so my hope is after this Thursday night game that I'll have some time on the weekend to reach out.
You might have talked about this already because I came late, but John O'Corn, you saw what he could do last year. Just talk about him as a quarterback.
Oh man, he's really good. He was a true freshman, and I was very impressed a year ago, and nothing's happened this year to make me think otherwise.